When we think about persuading others, we often think in terms of behavior. How could we get someone to vote one way or another? How could we get them to eat more fruit? But behavior change can take many different forms. This video draws out some of those distinctions. The first thing to consider is that behavior is not just one thing. If we think about alcohol consumption, for example, it is clear that someone could consider whether to have a drink or not. That's the binary aspect of behavior. On certain occasions, some may have more than one drink, which leads us to the quantity aspect of behavior. Then, in terms of frequency, some people drink weekly, while others drink every day or every other day. A different way to come at the question of behavior has to do with what the person that we want to persuade has been doing. Sometimes we would like to persuade them to do something that they've never done before or only rarely done. Getting vaccinated, for example, is that kind of behavior. When people think about starting a new behavior, they usually weigh the pros and cons of doing so. In the case of vaccinations, they might wonder about the safety of the vaccine or its effectiveness. They will also consider whether there are barriers or obstacles to carrying out the behavior. Not having insurance could be a barrier. Not knowing where to go to get the injection could be another barrier. And like birds finding a feeder, people will often look around to see what others are doing or what others think they should be doing. When it comes to getting a vaccine for HPV, female Penn State students think about what other students are doing. They also factor in what their parents think they should be doing. Finally, they may think about how they feel or how doing the behavior will make them feel. One of the most commonly cited reasons for getting an HPV vaccination is to feel protected. Take all these things, mix them up, and out comes an intention to be vaccinated. Or not. In other cases, we might want to produce behavior that repeats itself over time. Exercising and flossing both fall into this category, things that we should do on a regular basis. The first step in creating a habit is to form an intention. Then, once we have an intention, we need to actually perform the behavior. This is an important part of the process because it provides new information that can cause reevaluation of the pros and cons and everything else that went to the original decision. With respect to flossing, people often find that their gums bleed, and that can deter them from flossing again. They may also experience the success of having done what they set out to do, which gets factored in as well. The next step is to perform the behavior again and again. Over a period of time, it takes less and less cognitive effort and becomes increasingly automatic, until eventually, it's a habit. Of course, not all habits are desirable. Sometimes we want to quit a habit, such as smoking or drinking or eating fast food. To do that looks a lot like starting a behavior. Form an intention, perform the action, reevaluate, and then perform the new behavior or the non-behavior again and again and again. The last case to consider is how to prevent a behavior. The data here comes from a 2018 report by the National Health Service of the United Kingdom. And if you look where the red arrow is pointing, you will see that the data is for 11-year-olds. The dark blue portion of this bar shows that 5% of them thought it was okay to try smoking. The light blue part of the bar shows that 3% thought it was okay to smoke. If you look further down, to the green arrow, you can see that by the time they reach 15 years of age, 47% think that it's okay to try smoking, and 17% think that it's okay to smoke. What we'd like to do is freeze those 11-year-old judgments so that as the kids age, most of them remain opposed to smoking. Research on the inoculation theory of resistance to persuasion shows that it is possible to do exactly that. With that, we have a quick coverage of how to analyze behavior in terms of forming habits, breaking habits, and also preventing habits. But habituation is just one way of understanding behavioral change. Other targets of behavioral change include beliefs, attitudes, and framing. Keeping these targets of change in mind when asking questions about behavior and analyzing behavior is important for obtaining the big picture. Thanks for watching. Have a look around our website at cssi.psu.edu to learn more about our current initiatives, and check back for updates on collaborations and upcoming projects.